Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell you the truth about silver. Today is Saturday, the 25th of November, 2023. We're publishing our gold and silver weekly update for the week ending the 24th of November. 2 weeks ago, we saw gold and silver bounce back. And last week, which has just passed, they have strengthened further. And there is still the prospect of even higher rises. Why? Well, let's take a look. Now, as always, just a quick reminder, we've set up a second channel entitled Finances Do Matter, covering a whole array of financial topics. We'll place a link in the description box and comment section below for those who have not yet joined that channel. Meanwhile, going back to what happened last week and what we expect to happen this coming week, well, gold rose $21, rising from $1981 to $2,002. Having hit a high of 2007 and a low of 1965, a rise of 1.1%. In sterling terms, gold finished the week up just £1 at £1,591, and in euros it closed at 1,830 euros, that's up 14 euros. Silver rose 61 cents, rising from $23.73 to $24.34. Having hit a high of 24.34, therefore closing at its high, and a low of 23.26, a rise of 2.5%. In sterling terms, silver's up 27 pence at £19.34, and in euros it closed up 0.45 euros at 22.22 euros. Gold to silver ratio fell from 83.5 to 1 to 82.3 to 1. Now the difference between gold's high and low was $42. And the difference between silver's high and low was $1.08. Not dramatic movements in either direction, to be fair, but then we didn't expect any due to the lack of economic data coming out. Now, this is what we said last week concerning our forecast. Our prediction for gold this week is that it will trade between 1950 and 2025, which it did comfortably. And our silver forecast was that it will trade between 23 and 24.50, which it also did comfortably. Now, looking at other financials, Bitcoin's up $1,232 at $37,700. Equities were up in the United States, with the Dow Jones up 664 points at 35,390, the S&P up 45 points at 4,559, and the Nasdaq up 125 points at 14,250. Unfortunately, in the UK, the PCE Index was down 16 points at 7,488. Oils were ever so marginally lower. Brent crude closed at $80.58. That's down a massive 3 cents. I'm being ironic. And WTI crude closed at $75.54, down 35 cents on the week. The dollar index weakened further, still holding above 103 though at 103.40. That's down 0.62 points on the week. Now, last week's data coming out of the United States was more or less in line with expectations, and nothing particularly stood out, as we warned in our last podcast on this subject. However, this coming week will be a different matter. On Monday, we have new home sales for October. Tuesday, consumer confidence for November. Thursday, the very important PCE Inflation Index for October. And Friday, the ISM manufacturing data for November. Now, of course, all eyes will be on PCE and core PCE. The market is anticipating the core PCE year over year to fall from 3.7% to 3.5%, which will happen if the expected monthly figures fall to 0.2% from 0.3% the previous month. We also had the Fed Chair, Jerome Powell, and a number of governors speaking on Friday. We should just bear in mind, keep in the background of our minds, that the FOMC will not be announcing its next interest rate decision until the 13th of December. So we're expecting more movement this week, and if inflation appears to be going in the right direction, we shall see gold and silver strengthen even further. Last week we stated that traditionally we see a gold rally in November, often moving into the new year and up to, and then tends to cease by February. Well, with gold already at an elevated level, we should certainly see all-time highs reached either before 2023 is out or early in 2024, but that's in relation to gold. We have to balance this positive precious metal sentiment, though, with the fact that the FOMC minutes from November the 21st, which was declared last week, suggested a continued high interest rate strategy to combat inflation, contrasting with market expectations of rate reductions, causing uncertainty in the gold market. Clearly, if interest rates are to either remain or go down, then inflation must be seen to be subdued. Now, all eyes will also be on the OPEC Plus meeting, which has now been postponed until Thursday, the 30th of November, this coming week, which will give us a guide as to whether we will see a continuance of decreasing prices or a reverse turn leading to higher ones. If the latter, that will not bode well for inflation. If the former, we should certainly see a further rise in gold and silver. So with that in mind, our prediction for gold this week is that it will trade between $1,970 and $2,050, with 1930 to 2075 as outliers. If it hits that outlier figure, we've reached an all-time high. Our silver forecast is that it will trade between $23.75 and $25.50, with $23.25 to $26 as outliers. What do you think is going to happen? Please do share your thoughts. Meanwhile, thank you so much for listening. We'd appreciate it if you would give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, press the bell sign. Also, as mentioned at the start of the video, pop on over to Finances Do Matter and do the same there. And before we finally depart, just a quick shout out to some of the other videos we've produced over the last few weeks, and particularly on Finances Do Matter, where we not only discuss gold and silver, but we've covered a number of videos particularly relating to property and equity markets. And we will be focusing too on other forms of precious metals potentially on that channel, and alternative energy sources. So please do watch out for these videos and go through the various playlists that we have on this channel and on Finances Do Matter. That leaves us just to wish you a happy, safe, enjoyable weekend and a prosperous week ahead.